What if I told you that the very pinnacle of human athletic achievement, the spectacle of the Winter Olympics, specifically the alpine skiing events, is about to be reshaped in ways most people can't even begin to imagine? Not by a rival nation, not by a cheating scandal, but by forces far more profound, forces that are pushing the very boundaries of what it means to compete, to win, and even to exist in a rapidly changing world. Most people, the vast majority, are already looking forward to the next Winter Games. They're anticipating the drama, the grace, the pure speed of alpine skiing, but they're missing the bigger picture. They're focused on the surface, on the medals, on the familiar narratives of heroism and defeat. They don't see the unprecedented things brewing beneath the pristine snow. Because what we're about to witness after 2026 Winter Olympics, alpine skiing isn't just another competition. It's a turning point, a moment where the sport, and perhaps all elite human endeavor, hits a crossroad. It's about the crumbling of a carefully constructed illusion. It's about the thin veneer of control that the sports federations, the sponsors, the narrative shapers have maintained for decades, suddenly cracking wide open. And by the time you finish this video, you won't just understand the depth of this impending transformation. You'll see the threads of innovation, the real pressures, and why figures like Elon Musk, who constantly challenge established systems and push technological boundaries, understand exactly what kind of dangerous, exciting ground we're standing on. This isn't just sports. This is a masterclass in how human limits are being redefined, and what that means for you. Let's pull back the curtain, shall we? You've seen the Olympics before. The opening ceremonies, the triumphant athletes, the national anthems. It's a well-oiled machine, a global spectacle designed to inspire and entertain. Alpine skiing, in particular, has always been about raw speed, precision, and courage. The human body, defying gravity, conquering the mountain. A timeless pursuit. But what if that timeless pursuit is being fundamentally altered? What if the very definition of human achievement is being rewritten by forces beyond our immediate grasp? The 2026 Winter Olympics are just around the corner, and specifically in alpine skiing, we're seeing a convergence of factors that will create truly unprecedented goods and bads, winners and losers. And it all stems from an accelerating, almost desperate push for the edge. The Save America Act here is a metaphor for the integrity of sport. Trump's filibuster, well, that's where the analogy gets interesting. Trump, in this context, represents the disruptive force, the challenge to the established order. The filibuster isn't a political maneuver here. It's a confluence of technological advancements, environmental pressures, and commercial imperatives that are blocking the traditional narrative of pure sport. It's stalling the comfortable past, forcing a confrontation with an uncomfortable future. Think about it, the relentless pursuit of speed. The margins are already razor thin. We're talking hundreds of seconds. So, where do you find the next edge? It's no longer just about the athlete's strength or technique. Oh, it's about the skis, the boots, the bindings, the suits. Each piece of equipment is a marvel of engineering, a product of cutting-edge materials, science, and aerodynamics. This isn't new, but the pace of innovation driven by massive investments is now reaching fever pitch. But it's not just the gear, it's the data. Biometric sensors embedded in every piece of equipment. Real-time feedback on muscle fatigue, heart rate, oxygen levels, micro movements, AI-driven analytics that can predict optimal lines, body positions, and even energy expenditure. This isn't just about training harder. This is about training smarter than any human mind could ever comprehend on its own. For decades, the Olympics followed a pattern. Athletes trained, pushed their limits, and occasionally broke records. The narrative was simple: human dedication, natural talent, national pride. The technology evolved, yes, but it always felt like an enhancement to the human, not a replacement. The IOC, the federations, the media, they all played their part in crafting this narrative. They told you it was about the spirit of competition. They wanted you to believe in the purity of the sport. They sold you on the dream of the underdog, the triumph of will, and we, the public, consumed it. We absorbed it. We believed that this is how things must be, how the system should work. It was an almost perfect feedback loop, designed to maintain stability, to preserve the existing power structures of national teams, corporate sponsors, and media empires. They crafted the message. They controlled the flow. They manufactured the consent for a specific, idealized version of athletic competition. Think about it. How many times have we seen a story of pure human triumph, only to later learn about the massive team of scientists, nutritionists, physiologists, and engineers behind that athlete? The focus is always on the individual, never the ecosystem that allow that individual to thrive. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is the observable pattern of how elite sports have been presented. This is the playbook of athletic engineering. It ensures compelling storylines. It ensures corporate sponsorship. It minimizes actual substantive debate about the ethics of technological advantage. It makes sure real disruption to the perceived fairness of competition is kept at bay. The goal is never to have a genuine, unfiltered conversation about the role of technology in human performance. The goal is to funnel the public's attention, to focus their emotional energy on specific, pre-approved targets, and to redirect their energy away from the actual mechanics of what allows certain nations, certain athletes, certain teams to dominate. They want you arguing about the subjective judging, never the objective technological divide. They want you pointing fingers at individuals, never questioning the system itself. This has been the historical pattern. This has been the accepted truth. But then something broke. Something fundamentally shifted. And the 2026 Winter Olympics alpine skiing is where this breaking point becomes undeniable. The Save America Act in this context is the ideal of pure, fair, human-driven competition. And Trump's filibuster, the relentless, disruptive push of technology and external pressures, is what's effectively killing it. The sheer scale of technological integration, the climate crisis directly impacting snow conditions, and the astronomical financial stakes involved are converging. This time, the filibuster isn't just delaying the game, it's changing the rules mid-play. We're entering an era where the good outcomes are astonishing, world records shattered, feats of agility and speed previously thought impossible. The winners will be those who can harness this technological might, whose nations and sponsors can afford the most advanced R&D, the most sophisticated training protocols, the deepest data analysis. But the bad outcomes are just as profound. A growing divide between nations, but diminishing role for raw, unassisted human talent, and a fundamental questioning of what sport even means when the human element becomes almost indistinguishable from the machine. This isn't just about doping anymore. It's about tech doping. It's about genetic predisposition met with computational optimization. It's about a wealthy nation's AI designing the perfect ski wax for a specific temperature and snow condition, while a less fortunate athlete relies on intuition. This isn't fair, it isn't equitable, but it is the future knocking. Trump, in our metaphor representing the disruptive force, has effectively filibustered the status quo. His push for America first in technology, or any nation's push for technological dominance, mirrors the arms race happening in elite sports. And his actions, or the actions of these disruptive forces, are forcing a reckoning. It's a self-made trap for the IOC, for the federations. They've allowed the technological arms race to escalate, the commercialization to dictate priorities, and now the very integrity of their beloved events is at risk. His disruption backfired, not on him, but on the ideal. It was a tactical blunder for the spirit of the games. And now the entire institution of alpine skiing, and perhaps the Olympics themselves, is no longer just being debated. It's being fundamentally questioned. Now let's zoom out. Let's talk about the real game, the meta game, because power, at its most fundamental level, isn't about medals or glory. Power is about control and belief. It's about shaping what people accept as fair, what they believe is humanly possible, and what they believe is right in the pursuit of victory. Think about it. If they can control the narrative around progress and innovation, they can control your perception of what elite sport should be. If they can dictate what technologies are allowed, they can control the boundaries of human performance itself. And for too long, this control has been absolute. They tell you what the rules are. They tell you who the heroes are. They define the conversation. This is the narrative war that figures like Elon Musk constantly highlight. He's often spoken about the manipulation of information, the battle for truth in an age of unprecedented connectivity. He's called out the legacy media and the establishment for their role in shaping public opinion, often to serve particular agendas. Musk, whatever you think of him, represents a powerful counter-narrative, a voice that champions skepticism and challenges the accepted truths, particularly around technological progress and its societal implications. Is a disruptor in the information space, and his skepticism resonates profoundly with the changes we're seeing in sports. Musk understands that whoever controls the narrative controls the future. And what we're seeing right now with this convergence in alpine skiing is the establishment struggling to maintain control of a narrative they once owned. The narrative that it's all about the athlete, or it's a level playing field. That story is collapsing under the weight of exponential technological advancement and environmental shifts. But here's the critical point. Their ability to control belief is weakening. The old methods are losing their potency. The accepted truths are no longer accepted by everyone. The illusion is starting to fray, and this, my friends, is a terrifying prospect for those who rely on that control to maintain their power and revenue streams. When people stop believing the stories, when they see the gears grinding beneath the glossy surface, the entire structure begins to wobble. The rules, the traditions, the very foundations of how things are done. If the public no longer believes they are legitimate or fair, then their power vanishes. And this brings us to the most vital, the most hopeful part of this entire messy situation, the democratic turn, the rise of skepticism. Because for too long, many of us, myself included at times, accepted the narratives. We bought into the idea that the Olympic institutions knew best, that the spirit of the games was sacrosanct, that the playing field, if not perfectly level, was close enough. But a shift is happening, a profound awakening. People are waking up, they're asking the uncomfortable questions, they're challenging conventional wisdom, they're seeing the threads of the puppet masters, the mechanics of how consent is manufactured. They're looking at these incredible, almost superhuman performances in alpine skiing and asking, how much of that was human? How much was machine? And does it even matter? This newfound scrutiny of elite sports, fueled by the accelerating technological arms race, isn't just about casual observation. It's a symptom of a larger phenomenon, a growing distrust in the institutions themselves. When the lines between human and machine blur, when climate change literally melts the competitive landscape, it signals a deeper fracture. It signals that the traditional gatekeepers of sport are losing their grip. And this, I believe, is a powerful and necessary corrective force in our society. Skepticism isn't cynicism. Skepticism is the engine of discovery. It's what forces accountability. It's what demands transparency. It's what allows us to truly think for ourselves, rather than simply parroting the approved talking points about fair play, when the reality is anything but. When the public refuses to swallow the narrative, when they push back against the manufactured awe and the carefully crafted consensus, that's when true change becomes possible. That's when the system is forced to adapt, or in this case, to potentially redefine what sport itself truly means. So, what are the stakes here? What does this tactical episode, this seemingly contained sporting event, truly mean on a grander scale? This isn't just about medals. This isn't just about records. This is a battle for the very soul of human competition, for the integrity of our aspirations, and for the fundamental contract of trust between the spectacle and the spectator. If the very definition of athlete can be so radically altered by technology, if the playing field can be so unevenly tilted by wealth and access, what does that say about the stability of human achievement itself? It signals a profound realignment, a shift in the tectonic plates of our understanding of potential. We are witnessing in real time a broad civilizational pivot. The old ways of defining victory, of celebrating effort, are clashing head-on with a newly awakened, deeply skeptical public who are demanding authenticity. This moment in alpine skiing is a stark reminder that technology has power, that choices have consequences, and that even the most cherished traditions can, through a relentless pursuit of the edge, unravel years of carefully constructed ideals and potentially redefine the very essence of human endeavor. It's a sign that the ground beneath us is shifting. The institutions, those ancient, seemingly unmovable pillars of sport, are under immense pressure. They are being questioned like never before. And that, my friends, is both exhilarating and terrifying, because when the old ways crumble, what replaces them? A dystopian future where only the technologically augmented can compete? A more honest, more equitable vision of sport? Or something else entirely? The answer depends entirely on us, on whether we continue to be curious, to be vigilant, to demand truth. This isn't just a moment in the sports news cycle. This is a master class in the fragility of established norms and the awakening of a populace. It's a moment of profound significance that will echo through the world of sports and far beyond for years to come. It's a moment that proves the narratives we're fed are often just that, narratives. Stories designed to keep us complacent, even about the purity of the games. But we're not complacent anymore, are we? We're not buying the illusion. We're not buying the illusion, and we're asking the hard questions. That, in itself, is a powerful, powerful thing. So, I want to hear from you. What do you see happening behind the gleaming medals and corporate sponsorships? Do you believe this is the turning point for the future of elite sports? Is this the moment where the old guard truly starts to lose its grip on the definition of human achievement? Or is this just another cycle of innovation that will ultimately be absorbed? Drop your comments below. Let's keep this conversation going, because your perspective, your insights, are now more important than ever. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and never, ever stop questioning the stories they tell you, especially the ones about how our heroes are made. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the hidden truths of power and performance. Until next time, stay informed.